Greetings, greetings and gratitude to all my family, friends, and viewers. Welcome back to my African Center travel vlog right here on YouTube. My name is Akila. I don't want to take too long, but I did want to make a video today on a coin that I phrased called the runaway slave approach to repatriation. I want to explain what I mean when I say that. And I also want to talk about what is flag theory and how it relates to expatriation. And so I've said it before, but like I said, each video stands alone, so you wind up having to repeat things. But for the last 5 years, since 2015, I have been traveling the African continent looking for an African country to expatriate to. And so there's been a lot of challenges with that, some ups and downs. There's really not, at the time, I didn't know that there were books out there. I didn't know that there was a blueprint, to expatriation. And so a lot of my life experiences, this term, this phrase that I coined, literally comes out of my own life experiences and mistakes that I've made along the way, right? And so basically, the runaway slave approach is a phrase that I coined that describes people who kind of like romanticize Africa, and they leave America abruptly based on emotional decisions with very little money and no good strategic plan. And they wind up having to come back to America because they did not plan well. And so that is my definition of the runaway slave approach to repatriation. And so I explained before, repatriation, expatriation can be used interchangeably amongst Black people, but the correct term in legal terms is expatriation. And so now that whole going into a country, living under the radar, squatter life type thing, people do it all the time. And people do it in African countries. I just wouldn't suggest it. My situation never got that bad, but I've seen people, literally Africans from America, that are in African countries illegally. It happens. And so this channel, I want to begin to tell us the logistics of expatriating and how to do it the legal way, because white people have been doing it for years, and there's literally a blueprint out there that we can use to kind of help us choose an African country that we want to expatriate to. Because I know a lot of our decisions now out there basically are based off of emotion. How do you feel? Does this African country, and that's fine, because definitely that's part of the equation of going where you can get a peace of mind and where you're treated best and where you feel comfortable, to be able to grow and develop. Yes, that's important. That's part of it. But like I said, we need more of the logistics, right? And so there's a blueprint. So there's a guy out there that I've been doing research, a guy named Henry Schultz, around about in the 80s. He came up with the flag theory. And the flag theory basically is just a strategic plan to increase your freedom, protect your privacy, and to build wealth while living abroad. And so there's a lot of documentation out there on the internet of people actually applying this flag theory. Like I said, he was the one who kind of gets credit for creating it. But people have since then kind of taken it and added more flags to this theory to fit their own lifestyle, right? And so this used to be something only among rich white people that would want to flee America and avoid taxation. But I've noticed that like many other markets, this is an arbitrage opportunity, an arbitrage opportunity for everyday people like me and you. So it's no longer just available to the rich to be able to expatriate and take advantage of tax breaks and things of that nature. Also, everyday people like me and you can do it as well. And so, what I mean by an arbitrage opportunity is basically a loophole in the market where people take advantage of price differences between two or more markets. And so, if I had to put that into context to help you understand, like Airbnb is an arbitrage opportunity because, real estate was once, only a market open to high-end investors, rich people. But now real estate is being arbitraged in a way that everyday people like you and me can get in the market with a low investment. So Airbnb is one of those arbitrage opportunities because literally somebody, everyday people like me, can start with just one Airbnb property and kind of scale the business and make it grow and have a whole portfolio of properties and be a millionaire. I've seen it happen. Um, and so this whole global citizen flag theory thing is also an arbitrage opportunity for you and me. It's no longer just about the rich being able to flee America and avoid taxation and build wealth and protect their privacy. So I want to kind of go over, like I said, Mr. Henry Schultz, who is known for this whole flag theory, had three flags when he first originated, but since then people have taken it in and made it, fit their own lifestyle, right? And so I have seven flags actually that I use when I am looking at an African country to expatriate to, right? And so I'm going to go through each seven of those flags. Flag number one is dual citizenship. Dual citizenship is a flag that you need to plant on an African country that you are considering to relocate to. So that means that you need to be looking at a country that allows dual citizenship. Um, there are African countries that don't allow dual citizenship. You would have to renounce your American citizenship in order to become a citizen in that country. Not, like I said, not all African countries are the same. So you have to do your own research and figure out which ones accept dual citizenship. Now, that's if you want to keep your American citizenship. Some people believe in being separatists, and they eventually want to be totally free from America, and so they, are okay with the idea of renouncing their American citizenship. And so, in that instance, you would maybe you don't care if that particular country doesn't allow dual citizenship because, if that's your intentions, then you would be okay with renouncing your American citizenship to acquire a new citizenship. But flag number one is dual citizenship, finding a country where you can get dual citizenship at. Because the idea is that you're creating freedom for yourself at that point, because no one government, you're splitting yourself up, and no one government can totally just rule over you and tell you what to do, and you know and your money and that type of thing. It's an independence. It's quite an insurance, really, a backup plan, for freedom. And so, flag number two would be to have an offshore business. You need to look at an African country that is going to be good for starting a business. Now I know this, when you say offshore business, that sounds like, ooh, like only something rich people can do. But it's really just a matter of registering a business in an African country. And so it can be something small like an Airbnb. If you started a whole Airbnb profile of companies. You know, you could register that in an African country and still be planting a flag for an offshore business. And so number three would be what they call a business and banking tax haven, right? Um, and so a business and banking tax haven, basically a tax haven. Let me go over what a tax haven is. A tax haven basically is just a country that will offer little to no taxes to foreign investors. And so countries like most of these tax haven countries are in Europe and Asia. There are about 9 different tax haven countries in Africa, but for the most part, tax havens, those countries that will give you tax breaks for starting a business in their country um, for foreign investors, are typically in Europe and in Asia. And so places like the Netherlands and UK, Switzerland and Singapore are all tax havens. Um, but there are about 9 different African countries that are tax havens. That would be Botswana, Ghana, Kenya, Liberia, South Africa, Tanzania, um, Seychelles, Mauritius, and the Gambia are the 9 tax havens on the continent. And so then there's also a such thing as corporate tax havens, where it's these jurisdictions that multinational corporations, they find it attractive to expand their businesses in these areas. But back to the list, you need to make sure that the African number three, you need to make sure that the African country that you are looking at is a banking and business tax haven. Basically, like I said, they are going to give tax breaks for foreign investors. You also need to make sure that you're actively living in that particular country. So that brings me to flag number 4, which is having an address in that tax haven. Because you have people who live partially in America and partially on the continent. But these people can't take advantage of those tax breaks because they haven't exactly expatriated. So unless you are on a path to receiving citizenship, you know, it starts with a tourist visa and you move on to a residence permit. And then depending on which African country, all African countries are different, you know, depending on how long they want you to actually be in the country before they grant you citizenship. So when you are um, living out of both places, you don't qualify for those tax breaks. You actually have to be living outside of the country. And so flag number 4 is that you have a active address in that particular African country. Um, flag number 5 is a social haven. So basically saying that this African country needs to be somewhere that you can see yourself dating, marrying, raising children. Um, number 6 is an asset haven, somewhere that you can see yourself storing your valuable things like real estate. There's actually a lot of tax breaks for people who, because a lot of, well, no, I won't say a lot now. I mean, it's only 9, but with the AU opening up to Africans in the diaspora as part of their agenda for Africa, um, a lot more countries, I think, will be added to that list of tax havens in the future. But as of right now, the ones that are tax havens are good places to store assets and stuff, like buying real estate. You know, you'll get all kinds of tax breaks for buying real estate and stuff and helping develop those countries, right? And then number seven would be the digital flag. This speaks to Henry Henry Schultz, his part of the theory where he talks about protecting your privacy, um, because a lot of people who are in this whole global community expat life um, make their money through digital nomad, what they call digital nomads, basically being able to work remotely. And so, just like you would protect your personal information here in America, living abroad, you want to do the same thing. And so, the people typically still, try and protect their personal information with things like encrypted emails and virus protections and VPNs and some people even go as far as to have their website uh, hosted out of America by a company that will protect their information. Sometimes people, go pretty far with it as far as trying to protect themselves while they're living abroad. And so that is the seventh flag, um, the digital flag. Is the last flag that you need to plant in an African country. And so I have, until I found this information later in my journey, um, I was already putting flags down and did not know that there was a blueprint. I didn't know that these things actually had a name. Um, and so pretty much what I found out in my research is that these tax havens, like, France is the most aggressive. These countries that they're known for avoiding taxation, right? um, and meanwhile, at the same time, they double tax African countries, which opens the door for things like corruption, because they're literally taking the resources from Africa to build Western civilization and double taxing um, African countries. And then at the same time, the people who wind up paying for that imbalance is the poorest of the poor. Um, the everyday local people are the ones who wind up paying too many taxes, while the rich avoid taxes. The colonial masters avoid taxes. But again, this is a world that is an arbitrage opportunity that is open to us now. So we can use these things and literally, legally move out of the country and do it like white people been doing it for years. So, I think that's pretty much all I have for today. I'll conclude it there. And so, yeah, I think that's all the information I have for you guys today. We went over what I mean by the runaway slave approach to repatriation, and we talked about the flag theory, which is the blueprint for looking for an African country that you want to expatriate to. And so hopefully you can use this formula and apply it to your own life as you begin to actually strategically plan to relocate to an African country. And so if this is news that you can use, please like, share, subscribe, and comment below. And you know how I end all of these videos. Black love is definitely Black power. And so I'll see you guys in the next video.